So whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow.
Oh yes, my Straight Dog family, is that time of the night, or that I can say greetings to the world. It's that time of the morning, that time of the afternoon, or that time of the night. As I said, I can say greetings to the world, and welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. And to my Straight Talk family in St. Kitts and Nevis, and throughout the entire Caribbean region, I say a very pleasant night to all. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Division and Caribbean diaspora, I say greetings. In some cases, I can say good afternoon, I can say good morning, and I can also say good night, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourself. I know that some of you are in Africa, there's some of you in Asia, and there's some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America celebrating what's left of Veterans Day, no doubt. But welcome all to Straight Talk, and I thank those who continue to share the link. Continue to share the link, my Straight Dog family. And when you do so, we get first-timers. And for the first-timers, I trust and hope it will not be your last time. And just to inform the first-timers that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And I always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I always remember the words of a favorite hymn of mine, and an excerpt goes something like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. And my Straight Dog family, especially for the first timers, I want to assure you that nothing is watered down. Absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to try to make it more interesting, neither by omission or by exaggeration, because Straight Talk is not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we lean on the facts, and it's my bounden duty to present the unvarnished truth, as I call it, the plain truth, especially when it comes to transparency and governance in St. Kitts and Nevis, and by extension throughout the world for that matter. And through this program, we are joined together with people across the Federation, the people across the Caribbean. Through this program, we are joined with people in diaspora all around the world. Soon we know, some we know, I should say very well. Some we have met, others we do not know, and many we will never meet. Some will agree with our positions of truth advanced on Straight Talk, and some will disagree. And that's fine, my Straight Talk family, because we promote what I call diversity of opinions. But what will sadden me is if we ever start to become disagreeable. So in the meantime, let's thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for the day when we will all sing His praise together. And for the first timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded calling, the numbers are 663-6672. You'll see an area code. That's for those really who are calling from outside of St. Kitts Nevis. You can use 869, or you'll have to use 869-6672. Or there's an overseas number, 646-829-6672. And there are those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. We give you access via our email platform, and that email address is straighttalkpatches, and that's one word, at gmail.com. And all that is on your screens or your monitors, my Straight Talk family. You can't miss it. For those who have the Alexa app, and I know someone called me about that today, Alexa is heard live, and it's up and running, according to my good brother, and who facilitates us at moderate cost. But all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio, and you are connected. And I want to thank all who continue to make donations, and those who are inquiring of the possibility of making donations. And I must reassure you that your contribution helps us to continue these important discussions and maintain our commitment to public service. The others who wish to donate can simply scan the code. Just scan that code. That's where the world is going now. Just scan the code on your screen. You'll access the payment form. It's very simple. Very simple. And you'll follow that and you're good to go. But I want to thank you for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. I must also, as per usual, hail my junior brigade, young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Costa, Jamal in Anguilla, Travis and Trevon. I haven't seen any one of them or heard from any one of them for a long time. I trust and hope that they're all right. Yes, hope their parents are okay as well. And, of course, that special lady in St. Louis. How is the Texas Queen as well? My Straight Talk family, we usually begin our program with our observations in review, which are an integral part of Straight Talk. Then we move into my thesis or my short dissertation. And following my thesis, I will include your calls and emails, as mentioned earlier, to allow your full participation. And yes, Straight Talk gives you an opportunity to have your say. There's some people who meet me say they don't call for obvious reasons. They are afraid. We have what we call a vindictive government, a vindictive leader who will do anything to stifle freedom of expression. But our observations review highlight the current issues and do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions. And after our observations in review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled July Budget Got a Hole in the Center. So don't change your platform. Just spread the word that Straight Talk is live on social media, YouTube and Facebook, my Straight Talk family. And my first observation is a follow-up to my last episode when we reported on what Antigua and Barbuda's Commissioner of Police Rodney called a heinous crime which took place, I think it was on Tuesday, the 5th of November, last week Tuesday, to wit, the murder of colorful politician and leader in or of Antigua, Asad Michael. And the Commissioner of Police, Rodney, had this to say, my Straight Talk family.
We are going to use all the resources that we have locally, regionally, and internationally. I will be speaking to my regional partners, I'll be speaking to my international partners, and whatever resources that we need, we will use everything to address such a serious crime. It is a very heinous crime when you see that type of injury and that somebody is lying in that condition.
Yes, it was a heinous crime, my Straight Talk family. But police acting swiftly in Antigua and Barbuda, in Antigua to be specific, arrested and charged a 27-year-old Jamaican-born resident of Golden Grove in Antigua who has reportedly confessed to the fatal stabbing of former Member of Parliament Asad Michael. Meanwhile, my Straight Talk family, and although no date of a memorial service was announced by the family, the Antiguan and Barbudan cabinet has informed that it will afford one Asad Michael an official funeral. And this was reported by the Chief of Staff, Lionel Hurst, from Antigua and Barbuda.
The body of the Honorable Asad Michael was discovered Tuesday morning at his Dry Hill residence, leaving the nation in shock. As an investigation into his death continues, the government is focused on how best to honor his legacy. Chief of Staff in the Prime Minister's Office, Ambassador Lionel Hurst, says Cabinet has determined an official funeral rather than a state funeral will be the appropriate send-off. He explains the protocol behind this decision.
It was determined that an official funeral is the appropriate funeral for a member of parliament. He was not a member of cabinet and certainly not the prime minister or the governor general because the protocol is in writing.
Hurst says the state funeral is usually carried out by the military and the remains are carried on a gun carriage with a price tag of around $30,000. An official funeral is less costly, he says, around $20,000 and carried out by the police with military collaboration.
The flags are flown at half-mast only on the day of the funeral. This is for official funerals. And for state funerals, I believe there's a 7-day period of mourning when the flags are flown at half-mast, both the flags on government buildings as well as private enterprise. So the differences are really inconsequential.
Michael's contributions to the political landscape of Antigua and Barbuda are undeniable. As an independent candidate, he made history in St. Peter. And now, within the next few months, his vacant seat will need to be filled.
The Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda is very clear. Whenever a seat becomes vacant, under Section 41, I think it is, 41.3, it says that 120 days is the maximum time permitted for the seat to go vacant. So sometime within the next 120 days, we can anticipate that there will be a by-election.
St. Peter's by-election will certainly be one to watch as the constituency adjusts to life without their long-serving MP. Jamie J. Roche, ABS News.
And that's coming from ABS News, my Straight Talk family. And Asad Michael represented the Antigua Labour Party in Parliament before his resignation following detention by the police in the United Kingdom. Michael later ran as an independent candidate and retained his seat, which he held for a long time in the St. Peter constituency. My second observation, my Straight Dog family, relates to the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, which is launching a lecture series. I think that will be launched tomorrow. And with all the legal luminaries in St. Kitts Nevis, somehow this rogue legal practitioner was selected or volunteered to give the first lecture of this series, which would be convened at the Royal St. Kitts Marriott Hotel Ballroom. And this legal practitioner is all the things listed during this flyer on your screens, except to add, my Straight Dog family, that Garth Lucifer Wilkin broke the laws of St. Kitts and Nevis. I am aware that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the UDHR, adopted by the United Nations in 1948, asserts that all human beings are entitled to the same basic rights and freedoms. As a matter of fact, this is the foundation of the idea of justice without borders, advocating for rights that transcend national borders. But my Straight Dog family, I am strong of the view that charity begins at home. So how could they select Garth Lucifer Wilkin, who as Attorney General lacks integrity, committed a criminal offense, and to date has shown no remorse? Matter of fact, he has threatened us locally, and he has threatened you, my Straight Dog family, in the diaspora. You remember he threatened to extradite you? Do you remember this, my Straight Dog family?
I know they have Kittitians and divisions living in the States who believe because the States allow you to say anything they want, they could say anything they want. Stay up there. Come out of our internet, right? If you do that, we can send an MLAT to the US. We could find you, we could prosecute you, and we could get you extradited to St. Kitts to face charges.
Although he's talking rubbish, my Straight Dog family, it is his bombastic attitude, my Straight Dog family. It is the actions of this Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin that borders on rogue behavior, and putting him to lecture us is an insult, as Garth Lucifer Wilkin displayed rogue-like behavior as Attorney General, as he acted in ways that are dishonest. He acted in ways that are unethical. He acted in ways that are outside of the law. Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin disregarded the rule of law 3 times in defiance of established norms or in a way that undermined the integrity of his office. I will never forget this. So we are not going to legitimize him until justice is done. He either resigns or really come down from his high horse, because we must remember this.
Maybe Mr. Wilkins should be disclosing what's happened. Maybe Mr. Wilkins should disclose that he had failed to pay Social Security benefits for 15 months on one occasion, on another occasion for 5 months, and another one for about three or 4 months. And all of that is contrary to the law. And it is not a simple matter of just saying, oh, you just pay the fines. Because what you expose yourself to there is criminal action. And isn't this something that should be told to everybody? That if you do not pay your Social Security benefits, you are liable to be prosecuted. You hold yourself up for that possibility.
Yes, my street dog family, he should have been prosecuted. So this lecture series, to put this man before the legal fraternity, is some lecture about justice without borders, is an insult to every part of us, my street dog family. My third observation, my street dog family, I can report that the East Coast Housing Development's office is once again open. I confirmed that just today, my street dog family, that the doors of the East Coast Housing Development office are now open. That window on the outside is open. I never attempted, nonetheless, to try to get there this time around. But I can report that there is some form of activity going on in that office of the East Coast Housing Development. But my street dog family, every time Dr. July opens his mouth, he tells a different story or he tells a different lie. The latest being that he has found land somewhere. He did not say where and how much land, but he said 100 homes will be built by East Coast Housing Development, and they are now on the way. His famous line, on the way.
I want to say that East Coast has stepped up its activity significantly, and we have identified the land to start those 100 homes that I say must be started before the end of this year. We are well on our way, Madam Speaker. Those I'll take picture with, and I'll take the pictures in the next week and a half, Madam Speaker. So the homes are well on the way, Madam Speaker.
Homes are well on the way, according to Dr. July. So when and where did Dr. July find the land? Or I should ask, where will Dr. July find land for the remaining 2,298 homes? And when will they be built? Because remember, he promised 2,400 homes, my straight dog family. When and where they will be built. So we are following these stories, my straight dog family, as Straight Talk remains a guardrail of democracy in this country. And I must repeat, my role as a host of Straight Talk is not about PAM, not about Labour or PLP, CCM, NRP or any other party. And I would confess that I serve PAM. And I have served the team unity government of which PAM was a part. But my role today is not about politics. My role is to strengthen our democracy. My role is to ensure that our leaders act in the best public interest. And every day I look around in Europe, in Asia, in North America, in England, you see the media playing their role. Everything the government does have to give an explanation to the people. That is not the case here in St. Kitts Nevis. And my role is to advocate change. We must change that sooner rather than later. Whether it is Labour, PAM, PLP, or whomsoever, it must be changed. As a schoolmate of mine would say, change the change until we get the change we need. And there is a definite weakness here in St. Kitts Nevis, my Stray Dog family, as that is not happening. And everybody seems to be doing as they like. There's no accountability. There's a definite lack of transparency, no good governance, and a lack of integrity. But my Stray Dog family, I am going to say it again. There will be attempts to muzzle me. And believe it, if they succeed, they will muzzle you. But I want to say to you, as your voice, the voice of the voiceless, the voice of those who are afraid, we need to understand that the power is in our hands. We need to understand the power in the people is stronger than the people in power. And those are my observations in review for tonight as I move right into my thesis, which I just said I have titled, July Budget Got a Hole in the Center. And my Stray Dog family, preparing for the budget estimates, as they're called, is a three-phase process which begins each year in the month of February with a call to estimates. And it is finalized in October at the Estimates Committee, which in a sense is the cabinet. The word that is already out there, however, is that the 2025 budget will have a big hole in the center. And those budget sessions will come up in the next week or in the next 2 or 3 weeks, my Stray Dog family, because the government has to move to the parliament to get the authority to spend our money before the next fiscal year, which starts in January of 2025. The people of St. Kitts Nevis expect their government to act responsibly with the money in the treasury, the social security money, and the money in the National Bank. And I say National Bank because, my Stray Dog family, there's something that's been going on for time immemorial at the St. Kitts Nevis St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla, to be correct, National Bank. And that something needs to be addressed once and for all. That is, how many of us have stopped to think that the government of St. Kitts Nevis has 51% shares in the St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank? But each time, each financial year usurps 100% control of the board of the National Bank and its management. And that must be wrong and needs to be addressed once and for all. But when the time is right, Straight Talk will have a discussion with a view towards changing this serious anomaly, this serious irregularity, whereby 49% of the shareholders of the St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank are not represented on the board. The government controls those appointments, and something is wrong with that. My Stray Dog family, the first obligation of every government is to protect its people. But this was not so with the July administration, whose first order of business upon assuming office was to attack the most vulnerable people in the country. With an economy having to recover from the coronavirus-induced pandemic or COVID-19, lest we forget, COVID-19 had brought the entire world to a complete halt. Many were still suffering, and perhaps are still suffering from the loss of their jobs and their inability to cope with the demands of life, depended on their government, solely on their government, for social assistance. The PAP was number one on the list of this heartless government. The PAP program was not perfect, but what program is? My Straight Dog family, over 7,000 persons benefited from the PAP when the government changed in August 2022. And this was confirmed by the slow student, Jeffrey Hanley. He confirmed this.
When the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party won the general elections on August 5th, 2022, there were 7,469 payees receiving either regular PAP or PAP as expanded for COVID. The monetary value for each was $3,480,000, payable to 6,960 regular PAP beneficiaries and $254,500 to PAP as expanded for COVID, 509 beneficiaries. This totaled a grand payout of $3,734,500.
And my Straight Dog family, an heartless minister and a cabinet gave all these 7,000 and more recipients 3 months to reapply.
I use this opportunity to indicate that all eligible existing recipients of the Poverty Alleviation Program PAP are mandated to reapply by completing the application form by December 16, 2022. Failure to do so would mean that your payment will cease effective December 31st, 2022. I wish to notify the general public that the mending of the PAP will commence from January 2023.
And my Straight Dog family, as faith would have it, at the end of the reconfirmation period, there were more people qualified to receive PAP than they met in August 2022, as 12,000 persons or more had applied by the deadline given in December.
We had close to 1,200 applications, 12,000 applications for the PAP initiative. The Ministry of Social Development, the entire team is doing the verification process right now, checking with all of the agencies, including Social Security, making sure that the Social Security numbers are correct, the information that persons shared are accurate. We are hoping that we can restart by the end of this month after certain verification would have taken place, of course.
And my Straight Dog family, they went silent and been pushed by the media, the palace guards I call them. By June 2023, only 60%, only 5,361 persons of 8,985 eligible persons were provided with the assistance. Do you believe that, my straight dog family? Yes, that's the fact.
We paid on the 30th of June, I'll get that number for you, 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we closed applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid. I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair.
And my straight dog family, 40% of the eligible persons were not paid. We don't know right now the number of people benefiting at this present time because it's a state secret, like everything else. Nobody knows. And that is the level of good governance, transparency, and accountability that the people are expected to accept from this July administration. The cries of the people matters not, my straight dog family, as this elder is ignored as well, my straight dog family.
The $500 we are getting now from the PAP thing, it is so helpful. I wish I could triple it up.
Giving a $500 a month is not going to help a EK.
It's worth it.
It's not going to help a EK.
So helpful. I wish I could triple it up.
Giving a $500 a month is not going to help a EK.
And that's the story, my straight dog family. The truth is, Dr. July never supported the PAP. And though July was raised in humble circumstances, he climbed the ladder, but he kicked it down. He kicked the ladder down, and even the single mothers like this one, he has ignored and continues to ignore, my straight dog family.
You know, I think, you know, it's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. It's ridiculous, Mr. Prime Minister, and we really need a help, especially for a single parent. We do have a rough time.
But he does not care. But my straight dog family, it is decision time. Having increased his own salary and that of his cabinet by 33%, the chicken have come home to roost. The bad decisions that this administration has made in the past 2 years and more have now come back to haunt them. Ambassadors, special envoys, special advisors appointed in galore and at hefty salaries are causing major problems. He and his entire cabinet continue to travel the world at first class. Money has now run out. But my straight dog family, it is imperative that July gets authority from the parliament to spend our money. He must first table an appropriation bill. And his next budget, we'll soon find out, has a hole in the center. The bank, my straight dog family, is in trouble, he said. Social Security, he said, is in trouble. And CBI as well, he said, is in trouble. These are his words, my straight dog family.
Bank in trouble, Social Security in trouble, CBI in trouble, all sort of things in trouble, Madam Speaker. Bank in trouble, Social Security in trouble, CBI in trouble, all sort of things in trouble, Madam Speaker.
Everything is in trouble. All sorts of things, according to him, are in trouble. But it is the CBI that bothers me the most, my straight dog family. The CBI is in trouble because of his silly approach to diversification that has caused so much pain throughout the land. If you are going to diversify the economy by creating more revenue streams, you cannot destroy the revenue stream you already have. You must build new platforms or new revenue streams in addition to the one you have. That is what Dr. July did in what was his model of diversification. His model of diversification was to damage what he has, then try to rebuild it. And he sent his advisor Appleton to tell us about a black hole in government funding. In reality, there can never be any such thing. All that actually exists are choices about how the government can fund its spending. Some of these options, those same politicians are refusing to consider at a cost to all of us, my Street Dog family. You'll hear them say tax-free budget. But let's be clear how any government is funded. There are normally only three options available, I should say. One is taxation, and we know about that. The second one is borrowing. But can this government borrow with such a poor credit rating? And thirdly, there's government money creation. But that's not how it works here at the ECCB or in the East Caribbean Currency Union. So that's completely ruled out. So in St. Kitts, we can say there are two options available: taxation or borrowing. But what Jew has done is foolishness of the highest order. And all he continues to do is all in the name of politics. When he holds on, for example, till this day, to the foolish proposition of hiding an IMF report, it is politically naive. To listen to him in the parliament on Friday, it was saddening to hear him say this, my Street Dog family.
In the year 2018, when they stopped auditing the development bank, this country refused to give permission to the IMF to print their Article 4 report of 2018, Madam Speaker. It is since in 2020 to 2023 that we have asked the IMF to print it. They hid it from the people. They hid it from us, so we did not know the truth, Madam Speaker. So now the full truth is coming to bear.
And my Street Dog family, this is so silly, absurd, stupid, foolish. Find all the words that you can find. Because the current financial secretary, Mrs. Hilary Hazel, debunked this absurd proposition advanced by Jew even a few days ago. That absurd, silly, stupid statement was debunked years ago when the financial secretary said this, my Street Dog family.
The IMF is not the only credible source of information on the economic performance of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. In fact, the economic data that is gathered and distributed by the government is shared with all our relevant economic partners. The same data files that are shared with the IMF are also shared with ECCB, the Caribbean Development Bank, ECLAC, you name it. And so I think that we need to put things in proper perspective as well, in that the IMF is not an auditor of the government. The Director of Audit is the only authority to audit the books of the government. The IMF, however, continues to be an important partner in respect of the economic surveillance, policy advice to the government, and also the provision of technical assistance to the countries that hold membership with it.
And my Street Dog family, the Financial Secretary Hilary Hazel was kind and diplomatic when she mentioned to put things into proper perspective. What she was saying to Dr. July, read the damn audit report, excuse the language. But we must not expect better from a Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister, my Straight Dog family, who believes that a creditor and a debtor are one and the same. Yes, my Straight Dog family, do you believe this coming from the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance? Listen to this.
Social Security was in the negative in the year 2022. Obviously, COVID. Other issues is that Social Security were not getting any payments from its biggest creditor. Is it creditor or debtor? Which one? Or is it the same thing? Social Security was in the negative in the year 2022. Obviously, COVID. Other issues is that Social Security were not getting any payments from its biggest creditor. Is it creditor or debtor? Which one? Or is it the same thing?
Imagine that, my Straight Dog family. Isn't this sad? When our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance cannot distinguish the difference between a creditor and a debtor? No wonder his budget got a hole in the center. And here's this. July now plans to feed the nation with bananas, planting, and Tabasco peppers, or Tabasco pepper sauce, I should say. What lunacy, my Straight Dog family. The country needs staple crops. If we are going to survive, we need potatoes and vegetables or crops that can sustain life. Staple crops are those that are regularly consumed and provide the majority of a population's calories or caloric intake, the food that provides energy, my Straight Dog family. And these crops are fundamental, my Straight Dog family, to food security and are typically grown in large quantities for local consumption or trade, my Straight Dog family. And if you want to talk about Tabasco, St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean got some of the best pepper sauces in the world, my Straight Dog family. Even on the shelf, you'll find our local pepper sauce. I think Savannah Grady in the corner. I haven't seen Brimstone, the pepper sauce of the day here in St. Kitts. Nobody comes to St. Kitts and don't return without Brimstone pepper sauce, my Straight Dog family. But July is in dreamland, I submit. July is in dreamland, I know. And it cannot fool our farmers when it comes with this stupid talk.
I want to say that based on our projections, again, to create more jobs in this country, Tabasco Pepper Program and the Minister of Agriculture is here. I want to thank him and his team for their tireless and their hard work to make sure that we start the Tabasco Pepper Program, where we will be growing Tabasco peppers here. We'll be processing it up to the mash point and shipping it back to the United States of America. Madam Speaker, I myself and the minister himself, we visited Tabasco in Louisiana. Madam Speaker, we have calculated that every 10 acres will produce 30 jobs. So 100 acres will produce 300 jobs. And 200 acres will produce 600 jobs, Madam Speaker, for those who are in the agricultural field. We're going to mix it with other crops. What I'm simply saying here is that we're going back into large farm production of peppers and other crops so that it can add to our revenues and also help with our food security and also make sure that St. Kitts become a net exporter of certain crops instead of a net importer, Madam Speaker. So jobs for those who are in the agricultural sector. Madam,
food security would come from, as I said, staple crop, my Straight Dog family. But ask the questions. Has Dr. July discussed this project with the farmers? What is the value of this trade? And who has signed this deal with Tabasco? You, Terence Michael July, and Samuel Duggins, and the special envoy in Louisiana? Who has signed the deal? But my Straight Talk family, resilience and persistence is what is required. And look at what we have given to July. But ask ourselves, what has he given to us but hardship? He has blatantly weaponized the government. Yes, blatant weaponization, I should say, of government and its institutions. Labour before July was always a party of the working class. The economic policies back then, it was a party that supported economic redistribution, that pushed for policies aimed at reducing income inequality. My Straight Talk family, universal social benefits like health care, unemployment, insurance, and pensions. Higher taxes for the wealthy, and welfare state programs that are often working class oriented. It was a party that advocated for public spending on education, health care, and social housing. Likely focus on benefiting the working class, as these services make life more affordable for lower income people. But this July Labour Party does not understand what is going on in the lives of our people, as he flies out of the island every single week as if he is trying to run away from our problems. Problems with water, electricity, increasing cost of groceries, a deteriorating health system, a faltering economy, and worse yet, our lack of security and safety. July must understand by now that if he runs from a problem, it will never be solved. The July budget will do nothing for social justice and equality. It will not address economic and social equality, reduce poverty, improve living standards for marginalized groups, and close the income gap between the wealthy and the poor. Look at affordable housing. Policies that aim to address housing affordability or push for increased public housing development are not available under this administration. They are providing houses for the bankable. And many working people struggle with high housing costs. The July budget will present a significant structural deficit, symbolized by a hole in the center that undermines its fiscal sustainability and long-term economic health. This imbalance stems from a combination of increased public spending commitments, reduced revenue projections, and insufficient measures to address the underlying inefficiencies in public expenditure. As the budgetary gap widens, my Straight Talk family, he spoke of CBI. Look at the CBI, my Straight Talk family. He told us just a few weeks ago that his budget will have a shortfall of $322 million. That's from the CBI. Well, how did he get in that position, my Straight Talk family? Examine these financial summaries. The actual for 2022, look at the black dots to the bottom. It highlights citizenship by investment. In 2022, the actuals received on the CBI was $669 million. $358,624. Those were the actuals, my straight dog family. What he did with that money. In 2023, last year, he budgeted for $618,315. $315,000, beg your pardon. $789. We understand. And the actuals must be released come next month in the budget estimates in a few weeks. Well over $600 million. So what has he done with the money, my straight dog family? In 2024, his projected estimates were $540 million, as I mentioned earlier. And he said up to September, they only collected $218 million, my straight dog family. So, this government faces a critical challenge in balancing its fiscal responsibilities with the need for social investment, economic growth, and financial stability. That is why I know, my straight dog family, that the next July budget got a hole in the center. And that's my story tonight, my straight dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. I always like to implore you, though, when I do so, and I'll do so momentarily, that I anticipate that you'll respect others, I should say. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. I anticipate that you will be fair to all concerned. I also anticipate that the things you say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and or doing those things, my straight dog family, I also anticipate that you'll strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines and say, good night, caller. You are live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Yes, good night, my dear.
The quote for this evening. A budget is a great tool to tell you where your money should go. But it's up to us to hold the government accountable. I repeat, a budget is a great tool to tell you where your money should go. But it's up to us to hold the government accountable. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Budget is a great tool to tell you where your money should go. Where your money should go. But it's up to us to tell the government should go. Up to us to hold the government accountable. I like that quotation, my straight talk family. We go back to the line and say, caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Not hearing this caller. Okay, caller, could you come back? I'm not hearing you just now. Could you try to get back in? I'm sorry about that. But yes, the lines are open, my straight talk family. If you have joined me for the first time, again, the numbers are on your screens. We go back to the lines and say, caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk.
How is sounds like my brother from another mother.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra.
How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. I am peaceful.
Mr. Straight Talk, I couldn't believe you this evening. Mr. Straight Talk, you're on fire. You even went overboard.
Yes, I do.
And then have to say excuse. But Mr. Streeter, I would look now, something is going to happen to that government in St. Kitts now. You see what happened to American government? The people put him in and the people take him out.
Yes.
And this thing is going to come to St. Kitts. Because I never hear such much garbage. This man don't know what is an audit from what is a debt. The man didn't go to school. What's going on with this man? This man is saying that, and then somebody come again and say, look, what he's saying is not, I don't know. Anyway, let me hold on a while and greet my people, no? Mr. Streeter, you are doing a wonderful job, my boy. And good night, my little sister, Texas Queen and St. Louis. How are you, my lovely niece? My brother Alvin and George Reader. Did you hear from Brother Culture?
I haven't heard from him personally, but I heard of him. Someone tell me he's
okay.
You know?
Okay, well, Brother Culture, I just want to say good night to you. And there's another young lady that listened to you, and she called me and tell me how she. So I just want to say good night to all of them, and good night to my lovely niece, dear Abigail and Johnny, the leader family, the Tikaya, and all of you guys. You guys be good, Mr. Streeter. I think we're going to have, I don't know, but this government running into trouble. Here we say no, the CBI in trouble, the bank in trouble. Mr. Streeter, you and all is in trouble.
all of us in trouble, man, all of us.
Mr. Streeter, I never hear, but didn't he went in and meet them good?
So much money he made, millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
But this is what I'm saying, that he meet everything good. So how come now that everything running into trouble? So who run them into trouble? Who run them into trouble, Mr. Straight Talk?
July.
I always hear Captain say when we on the ship now, boys, this ship takes so much and so much cargo, we are not going over it. And I'm saying, what he says? He said, we're going to take 250 tons. And I'm saying, what? How much tons? A 1 ton is 1,000 pound. I said, what? I never know all this thing until I went aboard. You could ask me 10 years ago before I go on ship. What's a ton? Me never hear nothing about that ton until we went and got cane. They just tell you it can come 1 ton, 3 ton, but they don't tell you how much pound it is. They just tell you that ton. When I go on the ship, they say, look, this is what it is. 1 ton is. I say, what? So now this man out there, and you say, how this, that. What's going on in St. Kitts?
Abracadabra. The bank in trouble.
You are so right, it's abracadabra. Mr. Straight Talk, listen, man. You're really on fire tonight. I laugh it. And when you let over, but I say, Lord, Straight Talk is all right. It's okay. It's good. Mr. Straight Talk, just do what you got to do, see? Vaya Candias, abracadabra. See you soon, my brother. Love you.
Love you, my brother. Yes, my Straight Talk family. I didn't make this up. Here's what he says happened.
Bank in trouble, Social Security in trouble, CBI in trouble, all sorts of things in trouble, Madam Speaker.
Everything in trouble under this July administration, my Straight Talk family. And the difficulty, one of the great difficulties we have, is that our Minister of Finance don't know the difference between a creditor and a debtor.
Social Security was in the negative in the year 2022. Obviously, COVID, other issues is that Social Security were not getting any payments from its biggest creditor. Is it creditor or debtor? Which one? Or is the same thing?
Help our Minister of Finance, my Straight Talk family, to explain the difference between the creditor and the debtor. The road to success is the caption of this email. Dear Patches, please remind the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that the road to success, the road to success is always under construction. You keep a lot of us in the United Kingdom awake on Mondays and Thursdays because we want to hear from you. Thank you for that. One of my friends, a lady, is threatening to sue you for the loss of her sleep on those days because she cannot miss your broadcast. Thank you. Raise this email or everybody's trying to sue me. Tell her give me a break. And I hope she's up tonight and enjoying the program in the United Kingdom. Yes, the United Kingdom always on board. From the time he became Prime Minister, reads this email. Controversy began circulating around the identity of his biological father. A female journalist out of Antigua claimed that his father is an Antiguan. During a victory celebration in New York, greeting the attendees, Mr. DJ Marisha was in his full element on the PA system, said to the gathering, I hope you all will be voting for the Prime Minister next time around, which was obviously indicative that some present did not vote for him nor his party. A former woman police was so annoyed and upset that she immediately posted how embarrassed she was and vowed that she will never ever again attend a Labour Party function because of the DJ discriminatory behavior, rhetoric. The DJ said that this is the Prime Minister's sister. Meet her and Jesse Harris. Harris was never ashamed to boast that his father, Godfrey Nisbet, was from Cotton Ground in Nevis. So why is the Prime Minister cannot similarly state that his father, the late Michael J.K. Jew, was from Jessup to Nevis? For once, speak the truth, man. Reads this email. Patches, what is going on with this government? The Prime Minister claimed that he and his ministers are all experts and connoisseurs within the field of their portfolios. The impression they have given us is that they are all bright people, brighter than bright itself. Therefore, they do not need to listen to anyone, not even the electorate, to put them in. They will not condescend themselves now to the level of listening to the poor anymore. So many people are complaining that several months have passed since they have submitted their insurance claims to the National Insurance Office in Basseterre and are waiting to get their money. And nobody has the common sense and empathy to call these clients who are anxiously looking out daily for their insurance check and tell them what the status quo is. All experts but lack the knowledge and experience in governance. Mr. Minister, pay the clients their long-awaited funds. They have urgent business to attend to, reads this other email. Good night, Mr. Liburd. I want to say to the people of Nevis, can't you all see and realize that the Prime Minister, Dr. July, has no interest in the people of Nevis. Constitutionally, he is your Prime Minister. And over 2 years now, he cannot find the time to visit Nevis and have a town hall meeting with divisions. He has had several meetings with the people in St. Kitts at the various constituencies. He has visited the USA, Canada, and addressed the diaspora. But Nevis and divisions mean nothing to him. Divisions, ask yourself the question, why is he avoiding you? Isn't he concerned about the healthcare in Nevis and the protracted, long overdue hospital project under construction now, going for a decade? And sight in end of its completion, with so many millions lost already because of the corrupt practices that took place between a single government minister and the NIA in the designing of the hospital. Divisions want to speak to you about that and many others, Mr. Prime Minister, despite the fact that you already know what is going on. You're talking about a smart hospital for St. Kitts. Well, what about Nevis? They need one as well. Remember, Brantley, the crooked premier, praised you as the best Prime Minister. because according to him, only Harris and no other premier or prime ministers ever attended to the needs of Nevis in a progressive and positive way, as Harris did. But he said Prime Minister Drew has gone even further than Harris and promised whatever St. Kitts gets under his leadership, Nevis will get as well. And that will demonstrate fair share. Well, Mr. Prime Minister, will you be giving Nevis a smart hospital as well, sharing fairly? Reads this email. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Patrice, a pleasant good evening to you. And how are you doing?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I'm giving God thanks. Yes. What I'm calling to tell you, everything must empty. The Treasury, the bank, and the CBI. Because they take the money and go on shopping almost every week. You notice before they go in, all of them used to wear black and white when they go in funeral. And all of a sudden now, they must change their clothes fast. So what you expect with the Treasury, the bank, and the CBI? Patrice, you watch the Memorial thing what they had on the 4th yesterday?
No, I'm afraid.
I know it's a thing like that. Some of them look tight. And the Prime Minister wife, she's supposed to have the thing on top, the puppy on top her left side, and she have it on the right side. Just to show you they know what they're doing. I'm sorry for this country here with those jokers we put in this place here. But you have a pleasant good evening.
Is this the dimple lady I just recognized?
Oh, yes, this is she. Right. I am.
The voice. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yep. Thank you.
Good to hear you. I almost missed that voice, a dimple lady. This year is fast reaching the end, and we are not hearing anything officially from government about the usual double salary, reads this email. This is unprecedented. When Dr. Harris was in government all this time, so we don't know and making preparations how we will divest and utilize our double salary. For it was a surety it was coming, especially now that the VAT-free days have already been announced by the government. Here they have ignorantly placed the cart before the horse. What profit and advantage it will be for the poor and vulnerable if a double salary is not paid? Not only to the working civil servants, it must be paid to the pensioners as well. If one of your government ministers could have 5,000 US dollars or 5,000 US million on one of his bank accounts, surely you can pay the double salary. And don't tell us no more stupidness about CBI, revenue drop, millions missing from Development Bank, and Social Security. Don't tell us no more about that, reads this email. Patches, good night, reads this other email. The man Dr. July and the First Lady now get along. Work with me. You is a PM big function. Don't you all check each other as young husband and wife before going out? Sunday, First Lady got she puppy on she right side. Looks so stupid. Bring all the dirty laundry out. At such an occasion, good Patches, reads this email. Didn't quite follow that email, the content. But this other one reads, Patches, good evening. You remember a few weeks ago, the soccer engineer went to Boyd's, view his drone to boast about the residents getting roads. Well, Patches, someone told me to take a drive down there to see the mess that's happening down there. And after you finish reading this email, I want you, Patches, to take a drive down there someday yourself. Now, Patches, when I went there, I felt embarrassed for the residents living at Boyd's View. Why Congress wants to treat people like that and not just people, Patches? Labor people. The workers are on a specific road right now, and Lord, I feel it for those labor people living on that road, because about 6 houses on that road won't know how it feels to drive on paved roads. The roads will not be going to those living across there, but the road will be ending just to clear the corner. Imagine 2 residents complain to me that they have been living there for the past 6 years, driving on the terrible dirt roads, and Congress building roads for just a certain set of people, and those same people did not and will never ever vote for him. Congress, how can you leave your labor supporters without roads? Where the contractor is working on now? Congress, you're heartless. I feel those residents' pain. Lord man, Soka engineer, do better, otherwise you will be balling come next election, because the people in Boys View are waiting for your name to show up on that ballot paper. Patches, check out the road project in Boys View and come back to report to the people. Well, that's an assignment. Boys View Roads, my straight dog family. Good night, Patches. As the Christmas approaches, the majority of us are truly worried now more than at any other Christmas in our lifetime. Even under Douglas, we had a lot more hope, as we used to look forward to Christmas with much joy and anticipation, much hope, and especially then the sharing of gifts and having a good meal and the ensuing carnival. Patches, the upcoming Christmas, the first Christmas ever, we are fearful because most of us are truly broke. The idea that we have now to go to the supermarkets to buy goodies gives us shivers right through our spines, as there is no money in our kitties to buy even our traditional ham and ingredients for our rum cake. There's no money to put in the envelope for the church offering, no money to pay bus to get us to and from carnival, no money to pay our partner hand or for gift exchange. Patches, Dr. July has relegated St. Kitts people to be the laughing stock of the Caribbean community. Imagine Guyana President announced earlier that the government of Guyana, as a starter, will immediately be distributing $60 billion to the citizens as a dividend in time for Christmas. Antigua will give a double salary. But who used to a yearly double salary under Dr. Timothy Harris to the envy of all? Now July have turned us into literal paupers and beggars, beg your pardon. Most of us, Patches, have to now shamefacedly go back to beg our families abroad to send a few tins of foodstuff for us to take us through this Christmas, like we used to do back in the 1970s. Because under Timothy Harris, we had it so good that we were the ones flocking to Western Union, MoneyGram, and other money outlets to send money to our loved ones overseas to bind them over for Christmas. St. Kitts and Nevis under Dr. Timothy Harris was like the Egypt of old during the great famine under Pharaoh and Joseph, where everyone looks for help. Patches, things are so bad in every sector of the economy in this country that not even the traditional fresh pigeon peas that we have grown accustomed to that we will be getting from our local farmers for Christmas. Instead, Dr. July and Samal will be giving us Tabasco peppers to cook in our rice instead of our traditional pigeon peas. These freeloaders got to go. Patches, sooner rather than later. Thank you, Patches. Read this email. I'll get rid of the emails. My straight dog family, they're piling up on me, so I actually understand it there on the lines. Every time there is a parliamentary session, Dr. July parades in the House with a lot of lies and propaganda about the development bank. And because there is no effective parliamentary opposition in the House, coupled with a far inexperienced and biased speaker who obviously don't know and fully understand her role as speaker, invariably allowed Dr. July to break the rules of the House with impunity, reads this other email. The email you read earlier, Mr. Liburd, about the national insurance and the lackadaisical approach to process persons' claims is unbearable and unbecoming. I can testify to that, for I am waiting since July to get my check. When I check the office, they're telling me to check the post office, and post office telling me they're short of postmen, but they haven't received it yet. This is pure nonsense, reads this other email. Patches, good night. When are we going to get rid of this crazy man, Dr. Jew? He is a serious threat to everything in this country. He is a threat to social security, a threat to the development bank, and a threat to CBI, because he don't know a damn thing about the economy and finance. I think that because July came up in poverty and did not know about money, he is now lost and don't even know how to save. So it's spend on himself, his friends, and family. But I don't believe that July can add and subtract, so he's trying to discredit highly qualified and competent former ministers of finance and Prime Minister Dr. Harris and all the skilled and successful persons he had leading our major financial institutions, including Development Bank, Social Security, and CBI. Patches, 3 years ago, what we are seeing today under Drew was not even imagined because we had life so good in this country. Drew and his incompetent government has managed to waste all our money in 2.5 years. We need a change in government now, reads this email. Mr. Patches, good night. On Saturday night, we celebrate the senior prom. Everyone was well dressed, but the food wasn't good at all. The food menu was bread, green bush, chicken, fish, and lasagna. This what they fed big people, reads that email. Good evening. This is the worst we have ever felt under any administration. None are perfect. However, this administration comes with a stench of arrogance in the ignorance and ineptitude. Does the Prime Minister know that when people broke, they can't eat right? And that will eventually have an impact on the health of the nation, physical, spiritual, and mental. We can't drink buttermilk no more, and hot sauce don't go with ramen. These ministers have big buffers so they don't feel like the rest of us. There is a lot to be said, but we will stop talking and come next election, we'll vote them out. Reads this other email. It's 9:26, my Straight Talk family. You may have just joined me. The lines are open. The numbers are on your screen. 663-6672 or 646-829-6672. Our email address is accessible as well. You've seen I've had quite a lot of emails which I've just disposed of. There are quite a few left. I will get back to them as soon as possible. But you may have just joined us, and we have introduced our thesis for tonight. July budget got the hole in the center. And I made the point earlier that preparing the budget estimates is a 3-phase process which starts at the beginning of February. I'll get back to that. And the call of estimates is finalized in October at SMS committee or the cabinet committee. But let's take this call and get back to that. My Stray Dog family, you're live. Hello, call.
Hi, Scratches. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm peaceful. So, Dr. Juice said everything is in trouble.
Yes.
He and all in trouble.
True.
So he can do like a Dr. Simmons. Dr. Sim come out, do like Dr. Simmons. Dr. Simmons say when there's plenty, they get plenty. And when there's none, they get none. So right now, he went in and spent the money like a junkie sailor man. And though he don't have no money to give them, so just tell them when they get plenty. So there's none now, so you can't look for none. That is how it is. So they come out like a Simmons and say, so that's what Simmons did. He just like walking just like what Simmons did. Right? And when talking about Social Security, they wasn't paying into Social Security. When he look around, when they look around the room, who wasn't paying Social Security? God wasn't paying the Social Security, so that's what happened, Social Security thing. So, look, pick the beam out of your eye. So, all he had to say again, when there's plenty, they get plenty. When there's none, they get none. So, you take care. Patrice, take care.
Have a good night, my dear. Have a good night. Okay. Thanks a lot. Let's go back to the line and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hello. How is the Bible man tonight?
Well, the Bible man get plugged out.
Oh, it was you? I'm so sorry, my brother. I wasn't hearing.
No, don't come with that, Mr. Patrick.
I wasn't hearing the caller, so I cut the call.
Do not come with that.
Okay, my brother.
You know why? I'm telling you something tonight, Mr. Patrick.
Okay,
I get plugged out, and it's about 5 minutes now, and I tell myself I'm going to wait until about 9:30. But let me tell you something here. May have to make no worry, I may have to get no pet or nothing. But, Patrick, I want to say tonight, I don't take out my Bible, don't know, to go in it. And I just relax myself. But I want to say something tonight because when I come on Straight Talk and I say Psalm 41, and I will always say this passage of scripture. Himself, this is the only passage of scripture I will say that. The word of God said, blessed is the man that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. The Lord shall deliver them. But if that people go to church and they go and pray to the God of the heavens, but they don't know what they're doing. So I am saying tonight, my brother, and I am saying, my brother, my sister, put your confidence in God and God alone. I want to come up at this right now because when I done God, somebody and cuss me out and what me not care. And I'm thanking God for goodness and mercy. And I want to say to my brothers and sisters who are hearing me tonight, Psalm 37, I was young, now I'm old, yet I neither see the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
Yes, my brother. Okay.
Mr. Patel, Elijah was a man of God. To do what you have to do. And Jezebel come after him. And he went and hid at the tree. And God of the creator of the whole universe take a level and feed Elijah.
Okay.
My brother and sister, put your confidence in God and God alone and nobody else. God is going to look after you. That is good night. See you.
Good night, my brother. Thank you, as usual, for your spiritual interventions. And I go straight back to the lines. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your live.
Good night, Brother Patches.
Yes,
good night, all listeners. Good night, fans. Good night, the love of my life, St. Kitts and Nevis. Patches, I am tired and I was listening. But when you made that statement that the Prime Minister said Social Security in trouble, the bank in trouble, everybody in trouble, it's all about the money. So you are going to tell me, first, when the Labour government took office, they said everything is in the red. But there was money to take care of whatever they choose to do. There was money for these projects, the housing scheme. There was money for that. There was money for the Bradshaw Museum. So what kind of game we are understanding here? Where is the money? Patches, the next administration that take over, there have to be an investigation with what going on with these monies that was used. This is this? I can't even find the word. But do they think we in today's days are fools? We are not fools. A lot of us who is out here overseas, we left money in the Social Security and we entitled to get it when we reach the age to get it. So if you are telling me it dry up, that is impossible. I can't believe that. And if this is true, there must be some investigation and there have to be some feathers ruffling, because the people of St. Kitts are just sitting down and listening these things, or they are not listening. Is them an ostrich with their head in the sand and leave their ass out? What is going on? This government is playing games with us. I entitled to speak because I have money there in the Social Security. And I could bang my mouth and I can demand that investigation. Okay? So you are telling me 2 more years, 2.5 years to come, when election will be. And if they be gone, they're gone, leave the treasury broke, and the next administration have to go and find how to sustain the country, and perhaps they may got to go to the IMF. This is sickening. This is hurtful. This is painful. The previous administration, the Team Unity government, they left a lot of money. They left a lot of money. Where the money gone? Please bring it back. Okay. Bring them back. If I want to talk the colloquial way. This is a sinister. Patches. Okay. Somebody got to do something. A group has to do something.
Yep.
We need an investigation immediately to cover the truth. We need the truth of what's going on with our finances in our country.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I will try getting again. I have something else. Bye for now.
Thank you for your contribution, as usual.
Bank in trouble, Social Security in trouble, CBI in trouble, all sorts of things in trouble, Madam Speaker.
That's what he said. All kind of things in trouble. My Straight Talk family, we are all in trouble. We have to do something about it. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
It is me. Patrice, I think. Patrice,
Yes.
is me.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. I think that the House of Assembly, what they have there, is re-government headquarters because taxpayers' money do it. I think they're supposed to come down in the road. The speaker put the chair down in the road, and all of them put the chair around the hat, and all of them say what they got to say. Because none of them ready yet. None of them. If you hear how them may just go on in there, and she herself don't even know what's going on, but she's there because she got to get money. Even the one in Nevis, none of the two of them ready yet. And they need to put the chair down in the government road, and all of them stay down there and talk, see what they got to say, because they ain't suit up there in the house, because they ain't know what they're doing, and they ain't know what they're saying. Yes. You have a pleasant night. See you.
Thank you very much. Good suggestion there. Patches, good night. We, the hard-working civil servants, are waiting for our double salary. We expect it in 2022. Harris had already planned that in 2023. Drew said double out of style and gave us a half a salary. This time around, we are waiting on the expert government to give us our double salary that we are used to. Let's go back to the lines at 9:39. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Liburd, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful. What about you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
It's your day.
Just coming.
Your day. It's
just coming off of a low. Just coming off of a low point.
A low point. Okay. I thought I said the low.
Yeah.
Okay.
A low point. Okay. But after a low, you start going back up to the high.
Go back high. What goes up?
Yeah, yeah.
Come down. What comes down will go up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm rising again. Still I rise. Mm-hmm. In the midst of my enemies.
Okay. What's on your mind tonight?
So straight to it, man. Like you said, man, a lot of people and a lot of things are in trouble. You're in trouble.
All of us.
And it seems like I got myself in some trouble as well for expressing my views and my opinions.
You did?
Yeah, like one of your sayings on your show, you say we can disagree to agree. Let's not become disagreeable.
Right.
Let's in this thing called politics, let us be mature enough to respect each other's views and opinions, and then we'll be just fine. Maturity is needed when it comes to that type of stuff. In order for the country to progress, we must respect each other's views and opinions. With that said, man, I go straight to Luke chapter 6, verse 31, which says, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." And Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18 states, "You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against any of your people, but you should love your neighbor as yourself. I am God. I am Lord, sorry." As we make our statements here tonight, one of the observations that I have made prior is when it comes to the money, especially that CBI money, so much money has come into Bastille, yet still the money hasn't trickled down to the common class, common working man. The money went into certain persons in the community, primarily politicians, lawyers, and agents who are selling those passports. The working class needs to enjoy the fruits of their labor as well. And it's very discriminatory to see that we started a program like that, raked in so much money, and the money only went into certain person's hands. So now we see that this new government came in, and instead of them trying to make a difference in all facets of life in the community there in St. Kitts and Nevis, so the citizens' quality of life can be improved, they become and seems like they just want to stay with the status quo. Congratulations to Donald Trump in the United States election. Even though I didn't support him, politics is like a game, like a sports game. We play the game, we duke it out on the field, and we leave it on the field. When there's a winner, there's going to be a winner, and there's going to be a loser. No matter what, we got to display sportsmanship. Remember, Donald Trump lost last election. Biden turned most of those battleground states blue. Donald Trump came back this time and he won. Them said battle states, he primarily turned all of them per se back to red. So guess what? Donald Trump he lost last time. This time he wins. Today is for me. Tomorrow is for you. At the end of the day, when an election cycle is over and the winner is announced, it's time to govern. The people now got to put their support behind the leader, and the leader got to try to unite the country and move the country forward in terms of progress. And try to lift the quality of life of the people. We get caught up with this political back and forth. And I just want everybody to know, at the end of the day, politics is very divisive, and we should never let that divide us. So with that said, man, I just want to say to you, thanks for giving me the platform sometimes to talk on here. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, they got to pay attention to what's going on in their own country. We undoubtedly need a character like Donald Trump on the ground there to shake up the political arena in St. Kitts and Nevis. There's too much corruption in St. Kitts and Nevis. There is no changes coming. I call on the Prime Minister and the Premier, while this seems like they're lovey-dovey, to make those necessary changes between the two islands so the two islands can progress together. Constitutional reform and electoral reform should and must come. If they don't do that when it seems like they have a cordial relationship, when Bastille and Charlestown is at odds, where it's so hostile, and you know how it gets between Charleston and Bastille patches. The whole country knows that. When it's a hostile relationship, nothing will get done. So I don't see why the Premier is not speaking up to get those necessary changes done for the Nevis people. The Nevis people don't just sit him there to do nothing for the general public of the Nevis Island. While him and Dr. Jew seems like they have a good relationship, they should try to hammer out what's necessary to be done between those two islands so those two islands can strive together if we're together as a nation.
Okay.
We are doing things too inseparable, man. Okay. Those constitutional reform and those electoral reform should and must come.
Okay.
And I call on them both to go back and define the term citizen. What's a citizen?
Okay.
And who is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis? Because a citizen should enjoy the fruits, all fruits of their citizenship.
Okay.
Thank you very much, man. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. As always, very strong points, and we always welcome your contributions. Blessed Love, Mr. Straight Talk, reads this email. This government to call themselves an 18 are just talk and no action with all words. Mr. A.G. A.K. Lucifer Wilkins said integrity, and he broke the law 3 times and robbed his own nanny by not paying her tax, Social Security. Like Miss Marsha Henderson, a.k.a. the cat gone with her tongue, said transparency, and she not clearing her name from allegations like the cat take away your tongue permanently. Mr. PM said good governance and not living up to your word, saying things and not fulfilling your promises. Take his mouth speech like the dividend pap, the smart things, etc. And when not man of your word, people label you as a liar. And that's why they call you July. At 12 before 10 o'clock, we go back to the lines. Call you live. Hello, caller.
Hey, good night, Mr. Patrick.
Good night, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful.
I am listening to you. Thanks to know that. We have a rainy day down there, and you all have been in the same atmosphere. But I'm glad that you take my call. And I call to give my sentiments and my opinion and your conversation, your political conversation. You showed a little clip with Mr. Joe. He's talking about the bank is in trouble, the Social Security is in trouble, and the CBI is in trouble. Right? You just play a clip. You didn't play the whole clip, which you don't have enough time to do that. But I would like to listen to some of his conversation on that subject so I could get the full quality and the full, truth of what he's saying. What is the reason why these institutions having financial problems? It just started 2 years ago, or it was something in the lineage that was taking place slowly. Now we come to reality. I think if you have, it's fair enough. If you have some of that conversation, you could play the clip a little longer so we can get a drift. Because I know Social Security cannot fall into calamity overnight.
Have you heard?
CBI cannot fall into calamity. Hello?
Have you heard another clip I played when he said he didn't know what is a creditor, a debtor?
Yes, yeah, but he make an error in what he was saying. I understand that.
An error, okay,
Right.
Okay, but he also said that as well that some time ago that as of September, they only something's feeding back on. You close your equipment.
Okay. Everything is all right now. That was a mistake on my part.
He also said earlier that as of September, he only collected $280 million from the CBI revenue. And if you look at, I also showed you the budget, the estimates, and if you look at the estimates, it's on your screen now, right? He projected $540 million. So if my maths are accurate, then he's has a shortfall of $322 million. So that's why the CBI is in trouble. So what else do you want to play?
So you're not saying that institution and government does not have shortcoming in reality?
I'm not saying that. You're saying you want to hear the whole clip. But I'm saying to you that he said before that he only collected $280 million. And you look at, if you see your screen there, the estimated, something that's feeding back on your phone. Is your phone there? Just turn
my phone is up. Okay.
Right? If you look at the estimates on your screen, and he's projected $540 million.
I'm looking at it.
And you see, go down, you see that the column there, you see around there by $540 million. That's what is projected to be collected. And he said he has only collected $218 million. So he has a shortfall, a shortfall of $322 million. So he must say the CBI in trouble. So that's what else you want to play?
Right. So, and that is reality. Actually, that is reality. That is the growth of any country, that they have ups and downs. And the CVI took a dip because of certain things take place with because this passport business is not going to be a success forever, It's not going to be profitable forever.
Well, I'm not disputing that, but what is your point? What is your point, though? I'm not trying to get. What is the point, though?
No, my point is that, I mean, it seems like a lot of people getting into a fringy, a scary mind that, the government have a financial shortfall. And you politically doing it on the talk show, and that's your right. And I appreciate your information that you're giving the people, right? I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm actually saying, people don't need to go into a panic. A few callers calling like, it's a calamity, and what's going to become of us? No, we don't need to get into that. People have to continue, have good hope in the government, pray for the success of the government and the welfare of the government and the people. So we do not because you're saying these things, we should go into a panic. That's not the end of the country.
But I'm saying,
we go to storm.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I now catch your voice, right?
Okay.
Mr. Brown from St. Thomas, right?
That's how we are. That's how we are.
You know, really, right? Let's say if you're in the kitchen, you feel the heat, but you're not in the kitchen, and people here in St. Kitts are having to make a choice between eating food or paying the electricity bills. So you're talking about panic. You're talking just because you can talk. But if Jimmy Cliff had a song.
No, Patrick, that's not true, Patrick. Patrick, I have responsibility in my country too.
No, but
I have responsibility in my country.
But your country is not St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, I'm saying to you.
My country is St. Kitts, Patrick. I'm a Kittian thing, Patrick. I live. I migrate.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
What I mean, you're not living. You're not living here. That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I make contribute. Patrick, I pay bills in my country. I have responsibility in my country. I make my contribution.
But what I'm saying to you, my brother, right, is simply this.
Yeah.
We are living in a St. Kitts right now, where people have to make some stark choices. A lady said to me the other day when I met her in the supermarket, I said, why are you so serious? She said, coming into the supermarket is serious business, because she has to make a choice between buying food and paying she electricity bill. And that's the reality in St. Kitts, whether you like to hear it or not. You know?
Actually, it is the reality. It is the reality in the country where I'm living. Same way. It is the reality here also.
Okay, my brother.
Okay,
what's
so it is a universal. It is a universal reality, Patrick. So what I'm trying to say, my point is, the decline or the dilemma of the Social Security financial strength in the and its weakness, right? It was something that was taking place because you always hear a few years ago that the Social Security have financial problem. You always hear that. It was a talk given on your former leader that the Social Security have financial problem. He's dipping into the Social Security finance.
Hear this. The Social Security Board has not posted the financial statements on their website from 2019, as of the year 2019. I don't believe one thing that Dr. Drew says about Social Security. Put up the statements on the website so all of us can see it. It's our money. Let's just look at it and analyze it ourselves. And I don't apologize for saying that. Drew cannot be trusted. He doesn't understand finance. He doesn't understand these financial statements, and he keeps misspeaking. But I'll give you 10 more seconds.
Okay.
I'll give you 10 more seconds because the lines are going.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But what I'm saying, there was dilemma in the past government with the Social Security finance. But a lot of people because government the financial, decline of the government, the past government. They couldn't bring it out. They didn't have the privilege, authority to bring it out to the people. So there was a struggle there. There was a financial decline there. Now, if this present Prime Minister now is brave enough to talk about it, maybe he used the wrong time to talk about it because he's going into Christmas, and nobody wants to hear this kind of, weaknesses financially because they are. So maybe it was fast, the time to
Okay.
See what you're doing now. See what you back. See what you do.
I'm not hearing you clearly, my brother. But I want to thank you though. But
I said what you're doing now. You're using that weakness I think right now.
Okay, my brother. Thanks a lot for your intervention, as usual. But
all right, thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if we are really understanding each other because really, if I posted the information on the site, but let's go back to the line nonetheless. I'll get back to that. Call you live. Hello, call.
Yes, Patrick. I want to know if that guy is an alien. He look up, he can understand, and he can hear good. He understand what you say and what's not. He pick up for the government. I want to know if his salary will just go down a St. Thomas for him because that's how we are talking. I want to give them no wrong and nothing to all.
Maybe
he have paper, he get his money because don't care what you tell him. He still can understand and he not hear good. What's wrong with him? He's an alien, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. But my Straight Talk family, it's 9:59. Wow. I got to wrap now, my Straight Talk family. Let's get rid of these emails. Patches, I went to the primary school in Old Road last week. Patches, it was heartbreaking to see the way the students were deporting themselves. Their hair were mostly untidy, all sorts of locks and plaits. It was disgusting. Is this what the slow student wants for the young men who will be the leaders of tomorrow? It was utterly disgraceful to witness what this government has brought the young students to. Reads this email. Nothing is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. People are dying. The economy is stagnant. People are broke. No money in the country. We need back our unity government. Reads this other email. Good night, Patches. I am one who believes that government should not pay any double this year. People are too greedy and inconsiderate. Some of you don't even work a full month, but yet they want double salary. No double salary. Reads this email. I guess you stand alone. Can we discuss St. Kitts Nevis business, please? Let Americans deal with their issues. Remember, we have to pack our bags in 6 months as we're going home. All who think they love America more than Nevis. Reads this email. Patches, pay close attention to the financing of the budget. Deficits lead to debt accumulation, and sooner or later we are back to the IMF and more suffering. Surpluses as the solution, and only Dr. Harris and PLP can deliver. Yes, that's what this email reads. But as we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, you may have joined me late, and we looked at our thesis tonight. July budget got a hole in the center. The word that is already out there is that the 2025 budget will have a big hole in the center. The people of St. Kitts Nevis expect their government to act responsibly with the money in the treasury, the social security money, and the money in the bank. My Straight Talk family, my obligation, or the first obligation, I should say, of every government is to protect its people. But this was not so with the July administration, whose first order of business upon assuming office was to attack the most vulnerable people in the country. The PAP was number one on the list of this heartless government. The PAP program was not perfect, but what program is? Over 7,000 persons benefited from the PAP when the government changed in August 2022. Now, we don't know what's happening with the PAP. Everything in the state secret. The cries of the people matters not, because the cries of the people continue to be ignored by this heartless government or administration headed by Dr. July.
The $500 we are getting now from the PAP thing, it is so helpful. I wish I could triple it up.
Giving a $500 a month is not going to help a EK.
It's worth it.
It's not going to help a EK.
So helpful. I wish I could triple it up.
Giving a $500 a month is not going to help a EK.
But my Straight Talk family, Dr. Jew never supported the poverty alleviation program, never did. And the truth is, though he was raised in humble circumstances, he climbed the ladder, and congratulations to him. But he kicked the ladder down. And even single mothers like this one, he has ignored my Straight Talk family. He has ignored single mothers and all.
You know, I think, you know, it's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. It's ridiculous, Mr. Prime Minister, and we really need a help, especially for single parents. We do have a rough time.
But my Straight Talk family, it is decision time. Having increased his own salary and that of his cabinet by 33%, the chickens have come home to roost, as the colloquial saying or term goes. The bad decisions that this administration has made in the past 2 years and more have come back to haunt them. Ambassadors, special envoys, special advisors appointed in galore and at hefty salaries is causing major problems. He and his entire cabinet continue to travel the world, first class. Now money has run out. And it's imperative that he gets authority from the parliament to spend our money. He must table an appropriation bill. His next budget has a hole in the center, my Straight Talk family. But hear this. The bank is in trouble, he said. Social Security in trouble. And the CBI in trouble too.
Bank in trouble. Social Security in trouble. CBI in trouble. All sorts of things in trouble, Madam Speaker.
All sorts of things in trouble. But it is the CBI that must bother us most. The CBI is in trouble because of his silly approach to diversification that has caused so much pain throughout the land. If you are going to diversify the economy, you must create more revenue streams. But you cannot destroy the one you have. The one you have already built, until you get new revenue streams or new platforms in addition to what the one you have. But that's the model of July. Damage what you have, then try to rebuild. His advisor, Appleton, he sent to tell us about a black hole in government funding. In reality, there can be never such a thing or any such thing. Because all that actually exists are choices about how the government can fund its spending. Some of these options, those same politicians are refusing to consider at a cost to us all. And we can be clear, and we must be clear of how governments are funded. In St. Kitts, we have options available to us. One is taxation. The other one is borrowing. But what Drew has done is foolishness of the highest order. And he continues to do everything in the name of politics. I'm surprised even on Friday, he made this stupid statement, silly statement about the IMF.
In the year 2018, when they stopped auditing the Development Bank, this country refused to give permission to the IMF to print their Article 4 report of 2018, Madam Speaker. It is since in 2020 to 2023 that we have asked the IMF to print it. They hid it from the people. They hid it from us, so we did not know the truth, Madam Speaker. So now the full truth is coming to bear.
What truth, my straight dog family? Why don't he speak to his financial secretary and she can tell him the truth, so he will stop making these absurd statements, especially in the public? The financial secretary will tell him this. I know Mrs. Hazel will tell him this.
The IMF is not the only credible source of information on the economic performance of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. In fact, the economic data that is gathered and distributed by the government is shared with all our relevant economic partners. The same data files that are shared with the IMF are also shared with ECCB, the Caribbean Development Bank, ECLAC, you name it. And so I think that we need to put things in proper perspective as well, in that the IMF is not an auditor of the government. The Director of Audit is the only authority to audit the books of the government. The IMF, however, continues to be an important partner in respect of the economic surveillance, policy advice to the government, and also the provision of technical assistance to the countries that hold membership with it.
Speak to Mrs. Hazel, Prime Minister. She's your financial secretary. She can guide you. She can guide you about creditors and debtors. Because it is sad when our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance cannot distinguish the difference between a creditor and a debtor.
Social Security was in the negative in the year 2022. Obviously, COVID, other issues is that Social Security were not getting any payments from its biggest creditor. Is it creditor or debtor? Which one? Or is it the same thing?
Creditor and debtor cannot be the same thing, Dr. July. No wonder your budget got a hole in the center. You talk about plans to feed the nation. But here's what you brought us. Tabasco peppers. Tabasco peppers. You have brought us, my straight dog family. We have peppers in galore, hot sauce in galore. But you brought us Tabasco peppers, my straight dog family. Imagine this.
I want to say that based on our projections, again, to create more jobs in this country, Tabasco Pepper Program, and the Minister of Agriculture is here. I want to thank him and his team for their tireless and their hard work to make sure that we start the Tabasco Pepper Program, where we will be growing Tabasco peppers here. We'll be processing it up to the mash point and shipping it back to the United States of America. Madam Speaker, I myself and the minister himself, we visited Tabasco in Louisiana. Madam Speaker, we have calculated that every 10 acres will produce 30 jobs. So 100 acres will produce 300 jobs. And 200 acres will produce 600 jobs, Madam Speaker, for those who are in the agricultural field. We are going to mix it with other crops. What I'm simply saying here is that we're going back into large farm production of peppers and other crops so that it can add to our revenues and also help with our food security and also make sure that St. Kitts become a net exporter of certain crops instead of a net importer, Madam Speaker. So jobs for those who are in the agricultural sector. Madam,
my straight dog family, as we conclude tonight's programming, I'll insert this email. It's my last email, which reads, "Hi Patches, I am shameful to be a Brown because that man in St. Thomas is crazy. He needs some cattle brains because he does not understand anything you said to him. He is really a block brain. If the Social Security is in trouble, then Labour Party put it in trouble. Reads this email. And my Straight Talk family, as we wrap tonight, the country needs staple crops. If we are going to survive, we need potatoes, yams, vegetables, and crops that can sustain life. My Straight Talk family, staple crops are fundamental to food security. Believe it or not, Dr. July. But if you want to talk about Tabasco, St. Kitts, Nevis, and the Caribbean got some of the best pepper sauce in the world. July is in dreamland. He cannot fool our farmers. Has July discussed this project with the farmers? What is the value of the project? Let's take this and make this my final call for the night. Call, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Can you use it?
Yes, my brethren, blessed night, and I will lose less than your 15 seconds because your system that you're defending is out of order and is not going to be respected. It is balance of how we penetrating information, and we must able to bring facts to change. And when I say about that, I'm talking about the thing that I ask you all politicians. What are you all going to do for the people when we see these major companies and corporations and all those investment that is impacting upon our territories of the damages that they create to our social and economical ability? And I will say this word is straight out. Centralization of power. Where are we going from here as a people? And how are we going to face up to the challenges to ridicule all this corruption that we see applying on our political elements? You have a blessed night, Brother Patches.
Have a blessed night, Ras. Always good to hear. But this July Labour Party, in conclusion, my Straight Talk family, I must say, does not understand what is going on in the lives of our people. As he flies out of the island so often, almost every single week, is he trying to run away from our problems? Our problems with water, electricity, the increasing cost of groceries, a deteriorating health system, a faltering economy, and worse yet, our lack of security and safety. But Dr. July must understand by now that if he runs from a problem, it will never be solved. July budget will do nothing for social justice and equality. It will not address economic and social equality. It will not reduce poverty, improve living standards for marginalized groups, and close the income gap between the wealthy and the poor. Affordable housing. Policies that aim to address housing affordability is not being advanced. He's building houses. He said he found land for 100 houses. But these houses are for the bankable, my Straight Talk family. These pieces of land are for the bankable. This is what his disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkins said. The homes being built are those homes for the bankable. We understand that East Coast Housing Development Office is open. I saw it open today. I would confess, my Straight Talk family. But the homes they are building are not for the ordinary people, my Straight Talk family. So don't tell us about 100 lots or 100 houses will be built, my Straight Talk family, because they're not being built for the ordinary people. The NHC is established to provide shelter for the indigent, my Straight Talk family, the poor. But my Straight Talk family, as we wrap tonight's programming, I'm going to post one more time for your consumption. The financial, an excerpt from the budget estimates, my Straight Dog family. And if you look at the budget estimates, volume 1, you'll find this information, which tells us that the government faces a critical challenge, I should say, in balancing its fiscal responsibilities with the need for social investment, economic growth, and financial stability. This government, it would be a miracle if they present a budget that's not one in deficit. It will be a miracle if we stop that trek towards the IMF, my Straight Dog family. That is why I know that the next July budget got a hole in the center. And as my caller said earlier, in terms of her quotation, a budget is a great tool to tell you where you should go. It's up to us to hold the government accountable. And that's my story for tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will thank Almighty God in the process for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I want to thank you, the many listeners. I want to thank you, the callers. You, the emailers. Why the PM says this email want to put 600 people on plantations with everything smart. What happened to smart agriculture? I hope this is what he means. This day and age, we need smart agriculture too, because nobody wants to be going backwards with climate change and all. Yes, I thank the emailers. I want to thank the callers and those who listen. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.